Commander Masters is really expensive, and that presents a problem. How do you as a consumer interact with it if you don't want to spend a ton of money, or if you don't want to get hosed? That's what we're going to talk about today's video. First off, though, this video is sponsored by me at Game Grove. Welcome to the shop. A little different angle for you today. We've got Commander Masters pre-orders up, and if you want to support the store, that's the best way to do so. But let's get right into it. Commander Masters. And everybody's favorite conversation right now is the cost of Commander Masters, which is insane. We've talked about it on the channel. There's really, in my mind, no justification for the expense of the boxes and that kind of thing. That's been said, it's been discussed, but it is what it is, and that's where Magic is going. If you look at Double Masters and the VIP packs, we all said the same thing then, and they did really well. The cards in it were pretty good. So I don't know how that folds out. I don't know where that ends at the the timeline in 6 months when we look back on Commander Masters. I'm not sure where the prices are. I don't want to speculate on that. What I want to do today is give you some other ways of enjoying this product. And one of the things on the channel that I love to talk about is how to allow the hobby to fund itself. And these are a couple things that I look at when I see Commander Masters. Number one, the Commander decks are absolutely insane. You're seeing values on the Commander decks. I can barely keep the Eldrazi. I have to put the Eldrazi and Sliver decks. I have to put one or two of them on the website at a time because they're selling out so quickly. I want to keep some for local people here in the store. And what I'm seeing is this extreme opposite end with the other two decks, Enchanting, I think it's Enchanting and the Planeswalkers, where nobody seems to care about them. And the values on TCG Player are stupidly low, very, very close to the distribution cost after fees, and certainly after fees and shipping. I think stores are probably breaking even already on those decks. And this is before we've seen any spoilers for inside the decks, inside the cards. And so this is one thing I think people really need to look into and evaluate, is the idea that when all these decks get spoiled, they are going to put 10 new cards inside these decks. Everybody's seeing Commander Masters and, it's a reprint set. They're not putting enough reprint equity in it, blah, 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 which is probably true. I'm no math magician, wizard, perfect. I don't know. But the idea that there's 10 new cards in these decks and the two that are doing terribly, I think there's going to be a huge arbitrage opportunity for people who buy the full set or just speculate and buy those decks when those cards get spoiled. Listen, Planeswalkers and enchantments are strong Magic themes. I know they're not flashy like Eldrazi and flashy like Slivers, and the Slivers obviously have this connotation of old school Magic, which is going to get people excited. But enchantments and Planeswalkers, man, I'm telling you, there's going to be some stuff in there that those cards, maybe not off the bat, but over the next 6 months to a year, we'll start seeing a ton of play, those 10 new cards in each of those decks. So for me as a store, one of the things I'm just doing is I'm going to take those decks and open them for singles, because I think those singles are going to do phenomenally well as a result of everybody's focused on these other two things. One of the things I like to do as somebody who has to find ways and creative ways to make money and whatever, to run a business, is to look for the things that other people aren't looking for. So while everyone's focused on reprints and the equity in reprints, which is valid and important, I'm looking for things that people aren't paying attention to. And in my mind, those decks that people aren't paying attention to have a lot of potential right now, given that they will actually, I would be really watching spoilers. I mean, I'm already committed to my deck, so I don't really have to worry about it. But I would be really watching spoiler season to see when they put out those 10 additional cards, so that when they do and you see if they are powerful or not, you can pick those up and get them in your hands. So definitely an interesting thing, though, to have these new cards that have never been printed before inside of a Masters set. It almost feels like they have to increase the power level of those cards in order to work within a Masters theme with powerful cards like, Cyclonic Rift, I think, is in here, and Smothering Tithe is in here. So in order to work with those cards, they're going to have to put some strong stuff in. Now, you can get those cards also in the collector booster boxes. So there's a couple now different facets I want to talk about this set. Number one is the set box is as crazy as this is, the set box is actually the cheapest way to get rares and mythics still. It's like 4 to 5. I think the average is 4.5 rares or mythics per pack. And the way that averages out at the end, it's like $3.20 or something like that for a per rare or mythic in the set packs. Compared to collector boxes and draft boxes, that is the most efficient way to get the rares and mythics. So if you are hunting for just playable staples, man, that price tag sucks. I get it. Listen, I understand. As a store, I understand the prices that I have to pay are not equally high, but percentage-wise, they're as high as you're thinking too, percentage-wise. It's frustrating how expensive it is, but that is undoubtedly the cheapest way to get the rares and mythics in this set. Which brings me to the obvious statement, is if you are just looking for reprints on this, man, if you're just looking for those, I hate being the guy that says singles are the way. I know that's a cliche and whatever, and you don't get the enjoyment of opening packs, but like, man, that's the way. It's the best way. The base version of these cards, in my opinion, will have a huge dip as a result of just the large volume of cards that you're getting in those set boxes. And so looking for the reprints in the singles market, I think, is the key. But to me, the real thing to look for is those different new cards in those commander decks. If those are powerful, I mean, Wizards, you have to give them credit where credit is due. I know the prices are too high. I know this is, but listen, their commander decks and the commander-centered cards over the last couple sets and Warhammer and the Lord of the Rings and now Commander Masters, they've been really, really, really strong and really fun to play. Everybody loves the Lord of the Rings decks. Everybody in store, they love them. If you come into my store, almost any time there's somebody playing Commander and somebody's playing one of the Lord of the Rings decks. They're fun, they're powerful, people play them in pods, and I don't see how they could possibly, and Wizards always surprise us, but I don't see how they could possibly go from Warhammer 40K, huge set, huge amazing win for Commander decks, Lord of the Rings, huge set, amazing win for Commander decks. I don't see how they go to Commander Masters and mess this up. It doesn't logically make any sense that they wouldn't get Commander Masters right on the pre-con decks. And so for me, those pre-con decks and the individual cards, especially that are in the collector boxes, are things that I am telling my customers, listen, set boxes, if you want the reprints, you may want to wait and see what the singles market does. But if you want the good cards, the new cards, the reprints, or the commander deck, not the reprints, the new cards, those commander decks I think are going to be a really good bet. Because the commander decks, you're guaranteed to get those cards. If you buy a set of the commander decks on my website right here, I think I've gone for, I don't know what I've gone for. I think they're $340. I think I'm doing $85 per deck if you bundle it together. If you buy that, you get every one of the new commander cards. It's like, I know the price tag is expensive. Trust me, I get it. But in my opinion, that is the best way to engage with this set. Is just get the commander decks, then you have all the cards you need, and buy singles on the reprints of the singles you need. So anyway, that's a long video to tell you. I think that the commander decks are the play in this one. Collector boxes may be different, and those are my thoughts on Commander Masters. I would love to hear your thoughts as well of how can you engage with this product, even though it's really expensive, even though it feels like they're pricing you out a little bit. What are some ways? Maybe you just pick up one of the decks, and in my opinion, there's a lot of opportunity right now in how cheap those other two commander decks are. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.